Over the years, one of the first things that happens when everyone starts a session like this is says, oh, please put your mobiles on mute or put them on silent. And I've seen slowly that tapering off and people forgetting to say that because nobody listens to it. So I came up with a different approach. If your mobile rings, tell them, ruk, interesting session ho raha hai, baad mein phone karta hu. So don't worry, pick it up. I've been there, I've done that as well. There are children calling, parents calling, customers calling, people, important team members calling. So it's a way of our life. We better embrace this new life rather than try to fight it. It's wonderful to be at Meet Magento India. It's wonderful because it's post-pandemic. It's lovely to see the room looking slightly full, not bad at all. I don't know whether this is the closest room to the food room, that's why you're here, or you're really interested in knowing what's up here. But I hope to make your time worthwhile, and I hope to give you something to take away, something that will make you a little better in your job, in your business, in your career, in whatever you're interested in doing. So just before we start, so the topic is there, the future of D2C commerce. How many people are here because they want to know what is D2C? They've never heard of D2C and they want to know what's D2C. Anybody here doesn't know D2C? Okay, there's one lady over in the back. Okay, doesn't know what is D2C. Yes, a few people that's very interesting. People are coming to learn new stuff here. Excellent. The others know what is D2C. Excellent. So which means, how many of you here are in D2C versus providing services to a D2C customer? So let's say how many of you are in D2C? Okay, the two gentlemen there, some people here. Excellent. So you are selling direct to consumer. That's good. So the others, you're providing services to D2C. How many people providing services to D2C? All of you, you saw those 3 people who raised their hands before? I hope you marked them because those are the people you have to go and talk to. Okay, that's the one thing I've given all of you. 3 leads, 4 leads. Go and talk to them and see if you can offer them a service better than what their current service provider is offering. So what is D2C? Okay, some of us know and some of us have heard of it, but I'll try to unravel that briefly. It's reasonably simple, but there are some subtle nuances. Direct to consumer, direct to customer. Anybody has heard a different word? Direct to consumer, direct to customer. Any variation? Anybody has heard a different word? It's called D, the number 2C. It's also called D, the letter TC. Okay, so different geographies use DTC and D2C. So what's exactly D2C? When a brand or manufacturer sells direct to the consumer. Okay? And what's the alternative? I mean, what does it mean? You're selling it to somebody who's using your product. That's the subtle difference that you should remember. You're selling it to somebody who's using your product, not just shipping your product with a markup to somebody else or providing it to somebody. So that's the basic nuance of D2C. And there's there are a lot of challenges which come when you try to be a D2C provider or a D2C business as opposed to B2B, as opposed to B2C. So if you can see the image, I don't know how clear the image is, there are multiple routes. There are multiple routes that from a producer, a manufacturer or a brand creator that you can take to reach the consumer. You can go by an agent, a wholesaler, a retailer, and then the end user, or you can go direct, or you could skip some channels, some bits and pieces here, right? So this much is just to set the context. B2B, brands sell to wholesalers or distributors, right? So there's a way of charging, there's a way of pricing, there's a way of collecting money, there are methods of invoicing, purchase orders, and then there is B2C where the brands are still selling to users, but they're not selling it directly. They're selling it via these wholesalers. Can somebody share with me some brands which are purely B2C? They're not D2C today. Does anybody know of a very, very major brand which is not D2C? I know of a very, very big brand which you cannot buy directly from them. You have to go somewhere and buy from one of their wholesaler or their retailer or their distributor. Can anybody share a name? I'm sorry? Unilever. Okay, Unilever. Yes? Sorry? West Side. Okay. My favorite example? Coca-Cola. You can't buy a Coke can from Coke. You call them up, say yes, hello. They're used to people selling them services. They don't want anybody to come and buy stuff from Coca-Cola, right? Will they go D2C? Maybe. Let me give you another example of a company who does both these channels, being D2C and non-D2C excellently well. Apple. You can buy Apple from everywhere. You can buy them on marketplaces, you can buy them from franchises, you can buy them from resellers, and you can buy them from apple.com. Right? So they're an excellent example of where the industry is moving, where brands will eventually, starting off like Coca-Cola, starting off like Dell, which now also sells directly to customers, starting off like many of these large corporations, they've moved to the hybrid model. Some of them might move to the full D2C model alone. So brands selling directly to end consumers. Okay? D2C is growing fast. That's why Vijay said this is a good topic. Yeah, speak about it. Because there's a lot of growth in D2C. The US market is expected to be 200 billion plus. I love putting things like plus in these numbers. Then no one can say, no, itna kahan se aaya ye number. The plus is an easier number to justify. But it is big. Rest assured, it's big. A lot of growth is happening. And as you know, when you're a seller or a service provider or a product vendor, growing markets are excellent. Growing markets have inefficiencies. Growing markets have demand-supply gaps. And that's the key leverage of a capitalistic economy. When there's a demand-supply gap, you can sell your service at a profit. So a growing market is what everybody is looking for. Indian market is already $12 billion, is expected to be $12 billion in 2023. Not as big as the 200, but it's getting there. It's expected to quadruple to around 60 billion in about 5 to 6 years. So expect the Indian D2C market to be aggressively growing as well. So whether you're selling to D2C brands around the world, to North America or Europe or Australia or to India, D2C is going to grow, definitely. We've already seen D2C rise almost 3 times in the last 6 years. But that's a very slow pace compared to the pace it's going to increase in the next few years. So hold on to your horses if the D2C market is going to zoom. Why is it growing so fast? D2C is growing, but why is it growing so fast? Most of the times when business grows, it grows for a very simple reason. People who want to buy are many, and there are many people who are willing to sell to them. So this combination has clicked. There are consumers who want to buy direct. I personally have bought many Apple products only from the Apple Store, even though they're available slightly cheaper in many places. Why? Why are consumers wanting to buy direct? They have a connect with the brand. They feel, I need to get that confidence that this is coming straight from the brand, that it's not tampered in any way. There's just an emotional connect. And please remember that I'm sure all of you who are in business have realized this. The days of where do I get this cheap are gone. The days have come to where do I get this fast? Where do I get this safely? Where do I get this with high quality or without the threat of being a fake product? So there is a connect with the brand because of which people want to buy direct. There is trust and there's respect. So people don't mind paying a little more. Customization and personalization. You know, when I bought my AirPods, when I bought my AirPods, I bought them cheap on Amazon because I was getting 7% discount. When my son bought his AirPods, he bought them with a skull sign on them, which only Apple gives you. Amazon does not give you the AirPod with the skull sign or a list of 150 things. I said, why did you do skull? You can't gift it to anyone afterwards. He said, why do I want to gift it to anyone? So the new generation wants personalization. They want customization. They're not looking to maximize value. They're not looking for 5 saal baad when I want to sell it away, will I be able to sell it? No, I want it now and it has to be looking like mine. So customers want to buy direct. Early access, exclusive access. Brands can use this as an excellent way to differentiate. So the product is available on the direct channel only for the first few weeks, days, months, and then available in retailers and other places. This has happened. The iPhone gets released and it's available only in the own stores and on.com and comes on Amazon once before, but it's always registered. You know, you can't get it delivered till a few weeks after. And believe me, a lot of people are willing to pay more for that gap. To be the first one who pretend like they're getting a call because they want everyone to know I have the iPhone 14 Pro now before it's available on Amazon. Why do businesses want to sell direct? Besides the fact that the customers want to buy, what else do they gain? They want to understand the customer experience. Customer experience has been so long till now, non-D2C customers used to treat the wholesalers as their customers, used to treat the distributors as their customers. Now they've realized that if they want to make sure that they will stay in business, they have to understand their customer experience. They want to understand customer behavior. They want to know what customers do, when, how. They want to understand and use this data to beat their competition or at least compete with their competition. They want to improve margins. Why I say this with a funny tone is because they want to do it, but D2C doesn't necessarily do it all the time. It's just theory. Oh, I'm saving the distributor markup, I'm saving the retail markup. But there are a lot of hidden costs which brands don't factor in. So yes, they want to improve margin. Whether they do or not depends on how efficiently they implement their D2C implementation, their D2C business. Pricing control. Does anybody here remember for a long time you could not buy an Apple product at lower than MRP anywhere? It's only recently that some discounts have started to show up. There are still some brands which don't allow anybody to sell the product at a discount because they want to maintain a standard. The other side is also possible. They don't want the brands or products to be sold at a premium either, just because there's a demand-supply imbalance. You know, you can't say you can sell the product at double the price because there are only 5 available and 50 people want it. It creates unhappiness in the market. So these are the reasons why, these are some of the reasons, there are many more, why D2C is booming. D2C is booming everywhere. But there are challenges. There are many challenges in front of D2C. We'll flip through these challenges quickly and then we'll come to the crux of the talk, which is what are the predictions for the D2C market. Okay? Telling brand stories is going to be a challenge. Why am I building a case? Why am I building a software? Why am I building a product? Why am I building a service? Telling brand stories will connect to that first reason why end users want to buy D2C, because they connect with the brand through stories that you tell them. Traditional businesses are not so good at this. Traditional businesses are at cost control, quality control, inventory control, shipments. They're not so good at it. They say, "Arey, we've been doing it, it's going on." Now they're going to be forced to tell stories. They want to build new relationship standards with customers. These new relationship standards are not the same as I've sent the shipment, expected whenever delivery happens. Customers don't like this. Customers are going to say, "I paid, where is it? Where's my tracking number? Tracking number is not showing up. Why am I not got the delivery date? Can I accelerate it?" These are things that brands are not used to. They have to get used to this. Agile execution. Valentine's Day is coming, they have to change their whole website, they have to change their email marketing, they have to change their branding, they have to change their packaging. We just did it. Okay, forget it, now change it back. Holi is coming. Manufacturers aren't used to this. Manufacturers like to do stuff and then hold on to that. Arey, ye template ban gaya, now use it. For 2 years. No. Use it for 2 weeks and then come up with something new. in technology, in marketing, everywhere. These are the challenges that businesses are going to struggle with. Reacting to customer demand. It's not so exciting actually as we might think being retailers when somebody gets more demand than what they have stock. It's actually very painful because they see how much business they can do but they don't have the stock in hand. And when they react and when they stock and then suddenly there's no demand because people are suddenly no longer want to buy their product. So it's a big challenge. Payments, fraud, taxation, shipping, simple stuff. In a B2B, fraud, what fraud? I get my money in my bank, I count it only, then I ship. That's not how it works for D2C. So brands have to get used to handling these things that B2B companies have handled for some time. B2Cs rather. Okay, so coming to predictions. These are predictions, some predictions which are already happening, some predictions that we will see sooner or later happening, and some predictions that I will hear from you as well. Okay, so first prediction. Digitally native brands will challenge traditional brands, innovate faster and grab a lot of eyeballs and mind share. Do people here know what is a digitally native brand? DNB? So it's a brand, it's simple, it's a brand who doesn't have anything but a website. They don't have a store and a website. They don't have a physical presence and a website. Okay? So these brands will grab a lot of eyeballs. They'll raise money. They'll come in shows. They'll talk about things. Everybody will talk about them. That's the prediction. And it's happening. Revenue growth, D2C, you've seen that 200 billion, 12 billion will happen from traditional businesses going direct. All those DNBs are like the ants. They're like this, like you put the small businesses, they're exciting, they make a lot of sound, they get a lot of exciting energy, but they're not going to be generating the revenue growth. The revenue growth is going to go from traditional businesses. Many traditional businesses that move into D2C will first get things wrong. Some will figure it out and succeed, but this is the most important prediction. Others will give up and go back. And there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in saying I will rely on my wholesalers and my distributors. If you want to reinvent yourself, that's fine, but know that you can also rely on your wholesalers and distributors. So if you're in one of these three, it's okay. You've gone into D2C, you're losing money, it's okay, you can figure it out. You've gone into D2C and you say, I want to go back, that's okay as well. Focus on which part of your business you want to succeed at. No problems there. So D2C will challenge the wholesaler distributor ecosystem, but will not replace it completely. How many times have we seen the product not available on the direct customer website but available with the vendor? Because they have local stock, because they have temporary stock, or they have access to the stock from somewhere else. So it will not replace, but it will challenge. When I say challenge, it will get rid of the superficial wholesalers and retailers. The superficial ones are who simply treat the product like a box. You got the box and sell the box. Those guys will get into trouble. But if you're adding value, if you're stocking, if you know your customer, if you sell products at a higher value, you will still be relevant. So there's place for everybody in this growth industry. And I think the last prediction, marketplaces, partner channels, brand e-commerce stores will all coexist. So D2C doesn't mean you have to build your own website. You can be on Amazon, Walmart, Flipkart and still be D2C. D2C doesn't mean that you have to do everything yourself. In fact, I have seen case studies of D2C brands which got no traction with their own website, sold heavy, and then moved to Amazon, got a lot of traction, and then their website started working. So you have to innovate, you have to try all around. That's the prediction. So there's going to be a lot of growth, there's going to be a lot of challenges, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities. Any questions? Everybody's looking at those 3 D2C vendors. Kab ye speech khatam hoga and I'll catch the gentleman who and the lady who said we provide those services. We are a D2C business.
Some of them might have missed us earlier.
Yes. Can the D2C business owners please raise their hands? They will get a special cup of coffee. Okay, how much time do we have? 2 to 3 minutes. Anybody has any questions or thoughts? Yes?
So I think very interesting talk first. Thanks for that. But what I found it missing was that you did not touch upon physical aspects of it. Like, so that basically the online journeys that the customers are currently looking at. Like, there's not always, it's not end of the world if I direct you don't have you don't take off my distributors because they are there.
Correct.
Sell my product or the part where I can. So why not D2C or why D2C? Like, is the question that people are asking also, right?
Right.
Why D2C? Why do they have put a supply chain and it is working for them?
Correct.
Like, they have built that chain over the years.
Correct.
It's not happened overnight, and they have built their business specifically in India.
Correct.
The market, the route to market is not very strong.
Right.
It's compared to the other global markets.
Right.
And why do you want to change? Why do you want to?
Sure, it's a very good question. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Yeah, I'm Piyush Agarwal. I'm managing director
Of Accenture. Okay, so very good question from Piyush. Very simple question. Why do you want to change something that's working? Why do you want to go D2C if your distributor wholesaler market is working? My simple answer is, I don't want to change it if it's working, but I suspect it's not. And that's what was the 3 options of predictions. The companies who believe that these distributors are looting me, these retailers are making me uncompetitive, this supply chain is holding me back, will go D2C to try to beat it. Some of them will do better than the wholesalers and the retailers who they were working with, and so they will become D2C successful. Some of them will figure out, Bap, thank you very much, wholesaler, retailer, you were doing a job I never knew was so tough, so I'll stay with you. And some of them will iterate and improve. So your question is relevant, but the answer is reasonably simple. They will try it because that's the nature of a capitalist economy, to try to eliminate inefficiencies. There is also the reality that wholesalers and retailers have got a little bloated. They've become a little inefficient because there is this slight amount of monopolistic tendency. I am the zonal or distributor of this product in this area. Nobody can touch me. If I decide it can't be sold, it won't be sold. That gets broken with D2C. But if the distributor or the retailer is really efficient, fast, customer-centric, it's difficult to replace him. But not every industry has this fantastic supply chain. They just have it in theory. In practice, the businesses where the supply chain is broken or weak or has opportunities for improvement are where the D2C industry will grow. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tolerating me. I hope you enjoyed.